For the first one, you're given a slope of 1/2. We're given a y-intercept of -4/5. We want to be able to write this in slope-intercept form. We talked about this one yesterday. We said these were kind of the nice ones to do. You've got everything you have to do. All you have to do at this point is they give you the slope, they give you the y-intercept. All you have to do is plug and play. Everything is done for you already. So you get y is equal to 1/2 x minus 4/5. And that's all there is to that if it's asking you to put it in slope-intercept form. Don't make it any more difficult than that. Don't know if you can, but that's in slope-intercept form. The next one, we've got -3x minus 4y equals 24. The whole thing today, the whole lesson today is putting things in slope-intercept form. So we want to put this in the form y equals mx plus b. So this means we get to practice solving for y. And then we'll identify the slope and we'll identify the y-intercept as well in this one. So we want to isolate the y value. So we've got -3x. So that means I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And because I want it in the form y equals mx plus b, what I have left is -4y. I'm going to put this as 3x plus 24. 24 plus 3x, it's the same thing, but yeah. Now we still have to isolate. So in order to isolate this, we're going to go ahead and divide everything by -4. -4y divided by -4 just leaves me with y is equal to, positive divided by a negative is a negative, so I can rewrite this as -3/4 x. Those two things mean the exact same thing. 24 divided by 4 is -6. So we have it in slope-intercept form. So if we just want to name the slopes just for practice, the slope is 3/4. The y-intercept is the point 0, -6. And it's a good habit to put it in 0, -6 for your y-intercept. I mean, sometimes you'll just say the y is -6. As long as you put y-intercept -6, that's okay. So in that one, we had to solve for y. For the next one, now I'm giving you a slope, and I'm giving you a point that it goes through. So we have a slope of 8, and it has to go through the point 4, 6. So if we kind of sketch what this graph would look like a little bit, 4, 6 is somewhere right there. We got to go up 8 over 1. So our graph is going to look something like this. We want to write the equation for that. So that means, of course, we want to put it in the form y equals mx plus b. We know the slope, gave it to us. So I can replace the slope with an 8. We also know a y value on the line. The y value on the line is 6, so I'm going to replace that with a 6. When my y value is 6, my x value is 4, then this is going to allow us to find that b value. 8 times 4 is 32. Subtract 32 from both sides. 6 minus 32 is -26 equals b. So there's my b value, there's my slope. So when you write the equation of this one now, you do the same thing we did for the first one. We know the slope, we know the y-intercept, so our equation for this is going to be y is equal to 8x minus 26. Again, just to reiterate what that means, this graph then is going to hit your y-axis at 0, -26. That's what that means. And obviously not to scale. Okay. Questions with that one? Okay. Let's look at the next one. Now with this one, we're given 2 points. So again, if we just kind of sketch what this graph would look like. We've got the point 2, -10, that's down there somewhere. And we've got the point 4, 8, that's up there somewhere. So this graph kind of looks like this. So we have to find 2 things. We have to find the slope, and we have to find the y-intercept. Got to find the slope first. So to find our m value, just for your reminder, it's our change in y over our change in x. I just compare the y values. The y value goes from -10 to 8. How far is that? 18. It's 18 units. I just froze. You can't see it, but I can. It's back. Okay, so it has a change of 18. My x value is going from 2 to 4. So that is a change of 2. So my slope is 9, or 9 over 1. Now we revert back to what we just did in the previous question. We have a point and we have a slope. Doesn't matter if you pick 2, -10 or 4, 8. I don't want to deal with the negative, so I'm going to use 4, 8. So my y value is 8. My slope is 9. My x value is 4. That's going to give me my b value. If I would have picked -10, 9 times 2 plus b. Doesn't matter which one you pick. So this is 8 is equal to 36 plus b. Subtract 36 from both sides. That's -28. Equals my b value. You can see if I pick the other one, subtract 18, I get -28 is equal to my b value. It doesn't matter which through point you pick. So we kind of highlight the ones we need to look at now. There's our slope. There's our b value. Our equation, kind of running out of room. Equation will be y is equal to my slope times x minus 28. There's your solution. And you're done. And again, that graph, it's way down there. Again, as far as where it goes over the y-axis. So those were kind of the first ones we talked about the last couple days. The next ones we're going to look at, we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular. So in this first one, we've got a through point of 2, 6. We want to write an equation that's perpendicular to 6x minus 2y equals 4. So in order to do what perpendicular is, we need to know what the slopes are of two things that are perpendicular to each other. Two lines are perpendicular to each other mathematically if the product of their slopes is -1. In our world of talking math, if they're opposite reciprocals of each other. Okay? So that means I need to take this and find its slope. So that's got to be the first thing I do. I've got to find the slope of this. So in order to find the slope of it, I got to solve for y. So we're going to subtract 6x from both sides. That leaves me with -2y is equal to -6x plus 4. Now I'm going to divide by negative 2. And I divide everything by negative 2. So that's y is equal to 3x minus 2. So the slope of this one is 3 over 1. I've got a through point of 2, 6. What's my perpendicular slope going to be for my new line? What's the negative reciprocal of 3 over 1? If I flip 3 over 1, I get 1 over 3, right? But it has to be the opposite. So my slope for this is going to be negative 1/3. Ooh, that's going to get ugly. That's okay. So now we revert to what we did on the last page. We have a point that it goes through, and we have a slope. So my y value is 6. My slope is negative 1/3. Wasn't very nice of me. Times 2 plus 6. Or plus b. That's a b. Clearly that's a b. So 6, 1/3 times 2 is negative 2/3 plus b. I have to solve for b, so I'm going to add 2/3 to both sides. And because I have a whole number, I'm just going to put my b value is 6 2/3. Nothing wrong with doing that. So there's my b value, there's my slope. Equation, y equals negative 1/3 x plus 6 2/3. That's the equation of a line through 2, 6, perpendicular to that point. It's a lot of work. These aren't the easiest things in the world. These are a lot of work. I'm going to have you do this one on your own. Going to go through the point 2, 6 again, but this time our new line is going to be parallel to 3x minus 2y equals 12. So go ahead and write the equation of a line that goes through 2, 6, but is parallel to 3x minus 2y equals 12. So find the slope first of this one. Parallel slopes mean they're the same. Then use that slope and the through point to find your b, and then write your equation. King and Queen candidates voted for yesterday? That's what you did in PCR yesterday? Yes, no, didn't go. Didn't I tell you to make sure you went yesterday? So
we already voted for them on through they sent out an email.
So if you didn't vote for your King and Queen candidates, you can't complain. Did you vote for them earlier? Then you can complain. It's kind of like political voting. You can't complain about who the candidate is unless who the winner is unless you voted. If you voted, you can complain. Legally, you can't. There should be like a law.
Along what?
That if you didn't vote, and then you can't complain about who won. All right, so I'm going to subtract 3x. So negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 12. Divide everything by -2. Y is equal to 3/2 x minus 6. That's a negative there. It's a dot more, but that's a negative. So my slope for this one is 3/2, 3/2. That means my new slope. My point is 2, 6. Since they're parallel to each other, it's still going to be 3/2. Parallel slopes are exactly the same as each other. Now we write it. My x value is 6 equals my slope times 2 plus b. 3/2 times 2 is just 3. So 6 is equal to 3 plus b. 2's cancel each other out. So 3 is equal to b. So then our equation, y is equal to my slope plus 3. And there it is. Any questions?